Be nice.
Did anybody hear how Russ's dad?
Okay, cool. I think he's out.
And it didn't sound too good at last council meeting.
What's that?
Russ's dad. I was asking how.
They ended up doing the surgery a couple of weeks later.
Is he gone?
No,
He's,
I don't think so.
He got an emergency call during council last time.
Well, my father-in-law's been in for 8 days.
Oh dear. Found you.
You guys got to all see the baby last week, huh?
Open it anyway.
You guys all got to see the baby last week.
Thank you. Bruce, did you hear about the $25 million nuclear waste facility? $25 million nuclear waste disposal?
They've been talking, yeah. Nuclear, yeah, I know that's coming up.
Isn't
Go ahead.
that what we need?
No.
Something happened down there. I got to talk to Ralph about this. I could chop him. We had $42 million set aside
Our house up there, we
nuclear.
everything.
So maybe we can use their nuclear waste.
No, the administration took it away from us.
Trash under there, and then we've got some
Ask
wood
Russell
under
about
there.
that one.
Okay.
Should make him very happy.
Well, sometimes you wonder, don't you? He's doing what?
It's our third reading.
At least half of what I hired today was weekly or a week and a half. I would say at least 50 pounds of these. And up and downstairs. It's like up and work. Everything so it's right under.
Let's see, we have the same truck, but this one has 335 horsepower, and that one has 350. And wouldn't it be better to get the larger one, but no more differences in price?
It is. Yeah.
Well, I don't understand that because it's a 3.7 liter diesel, 3.7 liter gasoline engine, so is that why does that have more horsepower?
This one has less. This is
335, I guess.
Does it make any sense to get the...
No, I'll read that a little bit more. As far as I know, Russ is coming.
Maybe he's getting his hair done.
Is he? You never know.
No, you can never tell.
You do.
Okay. So this was, you guys talked about this last time. This is the same one. We're just redoing it tonight.
Just above.
10-4.
That's the one that was at 10-2 low. It's on the rock. There's a no low.
Thanks. I didn't know we're still dealing with that.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Police chief is throwing things at you, Judy.
Oh, no.
Are you aware of that?
No.
Do you think we should do something about it? Should we call the police?
No. We'll take care of it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't heard from him. There he is.
You always have to come in.
I was just getting ready to say,
Hello.
Hello.
I'm on time. No, he's straight.
Huh? Different. He survived that, but now he's goofy.
No, goofy.
Goofier than normal. Do I need to put your name on it?
I'm spoke over.
printing?
He started doing this, now I'm first spoiled.
I know.
I just follow along.
I can print them out for you guys.
We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Would you please rise and say the pledge with us? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Testing.
Calm down. Is there additions or deletions this evening? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the June 9th, 2025 council meeting minutes?
I move we approve the June 9th council minutes as presented.
Also,
Motioned and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Reports. Councilwoman Colling.
Nothing this evening.
Okay. Councilwoman
Yep, landfill. Again, we're getting ready to approve our final budget, and this is including doing some regrouping and renaming some of our checking and savings accounts to make them more current with our needs, as we have passed the closure needs for the landfill. A more interesting budget feature is still in processing, and we're trying to forge a 2024 Ford F750 2,000 gallon water truck. Gardens in Wyoming need water if they're going to succeed. Our equipment storage building is complete in the grounds area and certainly is a positive addition to efficient operations. 3,000 to 4,000 plants have been placed in the garden. Wood chips are going back into the community, and they hope to have 9 eggs a day available to the community soon. Guess it's first come, first served. Still holding our breath on the new gatehouse, maybe by early July, and we'll be working to get roto mill on our roads. 2 new dumping bins excuse me, are soon to be available for public use, but we're still unable to accept any oil. We are working to get that changed. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Kincaid.
I don't have anything that's gone, so nothing to report.
Councilman Delgorn.
weather's going to be fun tomorrow. That's all I got. Watch the sky tomorrow.
Yeah.
Storms?
We haven't officially put a tornado watch out, but I assume we'll be under a tornado watch and 2-inch hail tomorrow afternoon.
Great.
Okay.
But that's okay. We had the hailstorm, the windstorm, now we can have a tornado.
Yeah, so tomorrow could be interesting.
Right. I have hail damage on my car from the last.
Button down the hatches tonight.
Great.
Tammy, clerk.
I have been bringing in the liquor license renewal applications. I have all of them except 2. They're scheduled to be on the agenda on the 14th, the public hearing for that. I'll be out of town Monday through Wednesday. I'll be leaving Saturday, but I'll be back in town, back in the office Thursday morning. I'm going to some training. And just a reminder that we have our next work session on the 7th. That's all I have.
Kelly, treasurer. John, public works.
Well, I'd like to tell you that Breezy Main's passed her water exam, so she's another water operator that we'll have. We worked this last couple weeks with CEPI, finalizing the 4th Street project. All the drawings are done, so we'll see how that goes. The station's coming along pretty good. They've got quite a bit of concrete poured. We've been working on Deer Creek days, getting ready for that. And then the only other thing I did is we finalized our consumer confidence report that we're due for the EPA, and we have that available at Town Hall now for anyone who's interested.
And on the website.
What's that?
And on the website. It's on the website.
It's on the website, yep. That's it. Thank you.
When is the Forest Street project gonna start?
They're going to go to
Bid, they're advertising it now for the
they start
next
next
3
week.
weeks,
next 3 weeks, and
and then it'll go to bid on the 16th
16th of July.
of July.
So do we anticipate that project starting before the snow flies or next year?
It would probably start this year and finish, well, it'll be in this next fiscal
year.
year, and then probably into the following.
So it'll probably start before snow.
Yeah, probably, yes.
So are they still doing punch list items on the Birch project?
Yes. They're getting close. They've got till the end of,
I think it's the middle of July, isn't it?
middle of July, the end of their end date, and if they're not done, they are subject to fines and
They did pour quite a bit of the concrete that they had left. I talked to him today, the guy that does the concrete. They have separate crews that do the top lift. He didn't tell me when they would come do that on the asphalt. After the asphalt's poured, then they're going to come back and do all the cutting of the diamonds around all the manholes and the water valves. They'll have to pour that. They've got quite a bit of the landscaping done that will. The engineers have been up on it pretty good, but we'll go around and make sure everything I have been. And it's looking fairly decent. But we'll see if they make their deadline.
Yeah, just the one thing I see every day that I go, they're going to fix that is that pipe at the Glenrock Health Center behind that fire hydrant. That pipe.
Yeah,
is
that-
Yeah, I
that-
talked to
that
him
guardrail.
specifically today. He says he has his welder's going to come down and work on that, and I have a plan of what I want that I've talked to Mark at the clinic about what he will accept. So
It's
have that.
just funny when you drive by, you see that pipe missing, that blue pipe sticking out of the ground. It's kind of an eye catch. You see it
Yeah.
when you drive by.
It's not very nice looking.
How's the water salesman coming?
They got quite a bit of the concrete poured. They're still trying to get that house up here. It'll be a little late for that arrives, I'm assuming, because that's what at least the engineers had talked to, because it has to come out of Flagstaff,
Arizona.
and then they have to come up with it and then install that and hook it up. So they're kind of on schedule. We'll see.
When do we think? Conceive.
I personally don't think they'll be ready to operate in probably till August.
Thank you.
That's what I'm guessing.
Where is it?
It's out there by Lowenbro.
It's between the two roads in and out of the industrial park out there. We put it out in the
By Sharp.
railroad right away,
much
so
more
you can
accessible.
pull in, and it can be pulled in from either way, especially there's a dump for RVs, and then the fill station for all vehicles and larger, semi-tankers and stuff. A lot better than trying to back into the one down off the corner of First and
Cedar.
First and Cedar, or whatever that down in there. So
Is there going to be a charge for dump?
we have not discussed charging for the dump. There'll be a wash down. It'll probably be closed during the winter time because we will not insulate the water riser and hose system to wash that down. So it'll probably be shut down through the really cold weather and then back open in the spring. So. Wow.
Evening, Mayor and Council. 45 building permits to date. Weeds and grass, still working on that. I got a bunch of people due at the end of the week. I just got a new review of the 5th house going up in the town, and it's been 1 or 2 every year since I've been doing this. So 5 is,
Built one right by my place. New house.
well, there's another one going up
All right.
there too. So that's pretty impressive. 5, that's better than it has been. We had a steering committee meeting last Tuesday, talked over the stuff we talked about with the Wyoming DEQ people. And then the appraisal should be coming back from the health clinic soon on the land, and hopefully we hear from them. See what happens.
Well, we have a number, but we'll discuss. I think it's the final number. So.
And I think some of the people on that board have some question exactly how much of that plot do you want? You want it all or a portion of it?
Sure.
So you might,
We'll be happy to answer questions. So.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be good. And then,
Happy to have a meeting with them if they'd like.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd probably be a
Well,
good idea.
we have a meeting this week, so we'll just
we'll talk about it and get back.
Okay.
Yep.
That'll be
Meeting.
good. And I'll be gone next week, so we'll have to go from there. So I will have limited cell service and go to the mountains in Du Bois, but I'll check emails and texts when I get in town during that time. So we'll see how it goes. And then the last thing, the Glenrock games for Elevate, Kim still needs teams. She's got one so far, so I think she's got to get more or have to cancel that. But really a fun event. She put a lot of work into it, so it'd be nice if we could, ninth graders through high school and adults, you can combine a team, 5 girls, 5 guys, but we need more teams, so it'd be nice to get some.
Gee, that's just what we need. Maybe a council team, huh?
That's right.
I'll be gone.
We get spotted.
You need entertainment.
I'll be a referee. Yes, it would be entertaining.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Can we have proxy players?
Yeah. If you can think of anybody, get them going. That'd be fun.
Good way to clear out council.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a-
not going to be here. Chevy,
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Concerts have been well attended. They've been about 300 to 400 people. June 6th concert was canceled because the bands canceled it for the weather, and then it cleared up. And then June 20th, Spoken canceled at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but we were able to replace them with bands. And thank you to Kelly, Bruce, and Tammy for helping me out with that, because that was a last-minute, really hectic race to get that going. But we did get those replaced. Dinosaurs have been really popular. We had to designate ride times and princess times because it does get really hectic. Minecraft Mondays are doing well. We are about 30 plus people for that. Theater Thursdays, we are averaging 100 to 120 people. Date night, our first one was this Saturday the 21st, and we had about 20 people for that. Advertising is doing good. We're up to 190,000 views on digital advertising. The dinos and concerts are the leading number of the views. The splash pad is doing great. It's working. I will have the scooters in the parade this year. I can't have Princess because my handler is not going to be there that day, but maybe we'll get her out during the day that Saturday and get her going when I have some other help coming up. And then chalk art is at the square for Deer Creek Days on Saturday, and then cornhole.
Chevy, do you have any plans for using the ice arena area this summer?
We have not talked about it yet. Honestly, a lot of people that use it don't like it. They say they're looking for a real ice experience, and it's a very plastic.
But what about for summertime uses or anything?
It's hard because you have in order to get any slickness on it, you have to oil it, and that oil with any sun heat evaporates so fast that we can't keep it oiled enough to even. So you would just stick. It'd be like walking on plastic.
Can we use it as a non-ice area? Change it into something that doesn't have ice in it?
Basketball court.
Oh yeah,
Basketball courts?
it's my basketball court, and that's where my scooters. I keep my scooters. My 2 scooter rides I have. They ride them in the basketball.
So it is getting good use.
Oh yeah, because there's
Okay.
basketball down
We
there.
don't need ice as long
Scooters
as it's
like
getting
4
good
hours
use.
a day.
Okay, good. That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Calder, Chief of Police.
Evening, Mayor and Council. It's been a long couple of weeks. We did finish up the camp postcard up in the mountains. Officer Pierce said that was a pretty big success. All the kids came back saying good things, glowing reviews. So he had about 250 pictures, but we put a few up on our Facebook page, but that was about it. So I also attended the WHAM conference a couple weeks ago. The legislature is still the legislature, so moving on from that. Deer Creek Days, planning and working with John and Elevate and everybody else who has something planned. So just trying to get everything squared up, ready to go.
What's going on with the dog? Potential new dog.
Still waiting for the interview. The individual, that particular individual had to reschedule his interview due to a pretty large investigation that happened in his current jurisdiction. So he had to take that over, and we're actually interviewing on it tomorrow.
And our other dog, how's it doing?
Good. Actually,
It's here in town?
visited over the weekend.
Is it here in town
No,
full-time
ma'am.
yet? When
Casper.
will it be here, do you know, full-time?
They've actually asked to extend a little bit for a couple more weeks, so we're looking for like end of July.
Good.
Yeah. It was originally supposed to be, I believe, the middle of July, but they asked for a couple extra weeks because of what is that fair they do up there? The Central
Wyoming
Wyoming
Fair.
Fair up there. They wanted to maybe,
Oh, I thought maybe remedial.
yeah. But that's not what they told me. But
Okay.
yeah, they wanted to use that big event to be able to do some more training with larger crowds. So figured that would be a positive thing for sure. So, and then I did email the council with policies that I was drafting up as well. If anybody has any thoughts on that. So other than that, that's all I got.
Did anybody get the YDOT application to close the road for the parade?
I think we signed that.
Did
Kim
we?
got it, and I'm pretty sure we said it was fine and should have got signed, as far as I know.
And then-
Send it through?
Because they take care
Yeah,
of it.
well, I think she sent it through.
Okay, I
We signed
just didn't know.
it, she sent it through. Yeah,
For some reason, I didn't remember that we got the road closed thing.
They actually did it kind of early.
That's probably one problem I'm not remembering. Okay.
Okay. There's no fire department, so we'll move on to items from the floor. Is there any items from the floor this evening? Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on to old business. First order of old business is a vote on the conditional use permit for 206 North 4th Street for Sue Dills. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the conditional use permit for Sue Dills.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yes, I wanted to point out a few things. This was a very hard thing to go through. It says that this vehicle that is going to be parked there is a minimum trailer size, which I guess means it's not an RV. It says that the Planning Commission approved this, and the only questions I have there is why there is no signature. And it would be nice if the Planning Commission would give us a little input on their reasoning for approving or disapproving these things. The landowners in the area seem to be in an agreement with it, so I think it's possibly a different issue than the other issues that we have been dealing with, given that the size of the trailer states as a minimum trailer size.
There's clarification. This is the wrong conditional use permit. This is
No,
the one
this,
for. Yeah.
this one. This
That-
one.
No, the one that's in our agenda.
The one that's in our agenda, I thought this
Is
is
the
one
wrong
that we're
And the motion was for 206, and it's not for 206, it's for 202.
This is for the one we did last week.
Well, it's the same thing, but it has the wrong address on the one where you have in front of you. So we'll clarify that it is for 202 North 4th.
And it's not the one for a renter by the name of Judy Butcher. Correct. It's a different one.
Yeah, this was the
Thank you.
one that I was.
This is the one that's been vacant for 11 months since.
The one on 202 was the one that I had the paperwork for, that after looking through it, I just thought maybe there were some things that, especially when we have the planning commission, although, Lyle, are you planning commission person?
Yeah, I am.
Well, why isn't it signed?
Why is it one side?
It says the planning commission approved it, but there was no signature of the planning chairman.
Well, this one's signed by Mayor Lee, but it's the wrong one. So, it on the next page, page 2 of that, Mayor Lee signed it.
But this is
that's the wrong one.
that's.
But it's the wrong one.
No.
It's the wrong one.
It is the wrong one. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I see her.
And what were the specific reasons that you approved it?
So this all goes back to when RVs were discussed, whether to allow RVs in a mobile home district. And the planning commission came up with a whole list of requirements that if you allow an RV, there's a long list of things you have to do. There was a yearly
Yeah,
inspection that had to happen, and the planning commission passed. So
Does that have to be added to our ordinance?
It really does. So if you're going to consider allowing this, I would recommend that you go back to the original allowing RVs in the mobile home district, and you pass that as that's what you said.
So why is it called minimum trailer size? What's the difference between a minimum trailer size and an RV?
Well, and we passed that the last council, talking about definitions. So we took, in order to clarify what an RV park is and what goes in an RV park, a camper trailer, a fifth wheel. So we combined that to say that's what would be.
So is this an RV or is this a small a trailer?
She's asking for an RV to be placed in the mobile home.
But does the state
It meets the size standards that you require for even a mobile home.
So this is an RV.
It is an RV. There's a
But-
picture of it.
There is. Did I miss that?
We don't have the pictures.
Yeah, because we don't have the picture and stuff. It's, this is, unless there's other questions by council, we've
This was a large.
We've discussed this more than enough times. It was a vote to do a revote for when Roy got back to see.
Well, and I guess the only thing that I would like to say is, number one, Kathy Miller is also on the planning and zoning, so if you have questions about why they did what they did, but my question is, Roy, did you have a chance to look at the discussion that happened at the last council meeting, or do I need to make my presentation again, or?
I didn't get a chance to read it all, so.
Okay, so would you like me to make my presentation again?
I guess it's fair that you should do that, I think.
Okay. I know,
I wanna prolong
I know
this.
everybody's sick of this. Trust me, I'm the most sick of it. Okay, here we go. I would ask you to please consider these thoughts tonight. Times are changing. As technology has progressed with the times, so has terminology for factory-built housing. Travel trailers and mobile homes, manufactured homes, modular homes, RVs, and now tiny homes. These changes, as well as others, have been addressed through zoning changes in the past and will no doubt continue in the future. Since you as a body chose not to address this through zoning, we are now requesting a conditional use permit to be able to provide a place for someone to live. And what I mean with that, with not addressed through zoning, since you separated the tiny homes, the additional dwelling unit, from RVs being allowed in a mobile home district, you approved the tiny homes. When that finally went through, you said it couldn't be in any R1 or anything, it could only be in a mobile home district, because that was first presented by planning and zoning as those two together. And the council chose to not approve it together, so they separated the tiny homes from the RVs in the mobile home district and approved tiny homes in a mobile home district. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, however, I think you're saying we didn't take action. We did take action. Our action was not to approve it,
No, your action was you let it die
which is a way to not approve it.
without anybody having to know who wanted to vote what. So,
What difference does it make, Sue?
okay. So, we followed the procedure in Section 31.05 titled Conditional Use Permits of the Town of Glenrock Municipal Code. And that says each zoning district in this ordinance contains certain designated permitted uses available as a matter of right with no approval necessary from the commission or the town. Some of the zoning districts also contain certain conditional uses, neither absolutely permitted as right nor prohibited by law, which are compatible within the zoning district. They are privileges in a sense which must be applied for and approved by the commission and the town. The purpose of the conditional use permit is to enable the town to exercise some measure of control over the extent of certain activities which, although desirable in limited numbers, could have a detrimental effect within the district if they are permitted in large numbers.
A conditional use permit is an authorization which allows the landowner to use his property in a manner compatible with the zoning district in which it is located, provided he demonstrates compliance with all standards and criteria enumerated in this ordinance and specified by the commission and the town, which we've met all of those conditions. I am concerned with the fact that we have had to turn away what at the last meeting was 23. We're now up to 28 people have inquired and needed a place to live, and the fact we are about to enter the 10th month of being denied the use of our property for its designated use, as well as loss of income. I have been doing additional research and believe that if the current Town of Glenrock Municipal Code is actually applied, we have a right to have an RV in our court without any approval other than applying for the parking permit, as has always been the case in the past, with absolutely no detriment to the Town of Glenrock. Section 31.03.05 of the Town of Glenrock Code for Zoning, titled Mobile Home Residential, reads, and I'll read that if you'd like. It talks about what's required for the special uses permitted, which is mobile home, travel trailer, and recreational vehicle park. And as you go on to read that, the standards are exactly the same between a mobile home and recreational park. Under these definitions and conditions, the requirements for mobile home parks and travel trailer and RV parks are identical. There's no mention of restroom requirements. Upon contacting the county and reviewing Section 21 regarding RV park regulations, there are no stated requirements for restrooms. We have previously been told we can no longer have an RV in our park because we do not have restroom facilities, even though those RVs meet the size and age requirements for mobile homes and are fully self-contained. I previously requested from the Town of Glenrock the written references that you're using to deny us the use of our property for its design purpose. And to date, I still have not received it. I had requested that clear back in last November. It is understandable that you would restrict the placement of RVs in other zoned areas of town. The 5 people on the Planning and Zoning Committee believe it to be an acceptable use based on their research and commitment to bettering our community. This type of use has been allowed and permitted in our trailer park for over 30 years without any detriment to the Town of Glenrock. The way people are choosing to live is changing, whether it's economic-based or value-based. Things are changing. Why would we choose to make decisions to turn people away from becoming a part of our community because of this? The retired couple that chooses to make Glenrock their home and has decided that an RV suits their living needs. The simplification of their estate when they pass is another reason they like RV living. And as sorry, I've lost her name for just a second here. Presented last week from the gal that wants to rent this space. She said they sold their house because of the wind towers and stuff up in Rolling Hills. They didn't want to live under that anymore. They bought an RV. Now their house is paid for. If they have any illnesses or health problems, they can't lose their house because their house is paid for and they can take it wherever they want to go. So that's another thing. The simplification of their estate when they pass is another reason they like RV living. They chose Glenrock because it's the perfect fit. Small, friendly community, local grocery store, restaurants, doctors, recreation, senior center, and if the need arises, a senior living center. They have a little dog and want a fence and grass and maybe a small garden. All things that even if they could get an RV space in a park, those are things they could not have. And that was the other thing is, Margaret, you had brought up at the last meeting, you know, that we just need to keep these RVs in an RV park, but the cost of putting in an RV park makes the rent so high because those people have to recover their investment that it's not affordable living anymore at that time. And Glenrock, as well as this whole state, as well as the country, faces an affordable housing crisis. So why would, when we can accommodate a family, why would we want to turn them away when it's not any detriment? The family that chooses Glenrock as the place they want to raise their family for many of the same reasons, as well as the grade schools. They have decided that minimal living works for them. Travel trailer fits their needs. It allows mom to stay home with the baby while dad works. They also want a fence, grass, and maybe a swing set for the kids. And again, this has been reinforced by the number of people that have asked to rent that lot. And all of them have been people who reside in RVs. The fact that the ordinance allows RV parks in a mobile home zone district that could have 50 to 100 RVs, with the town of Glenrock having no say about what those RVs look like within that park, it seems reasonable to allow one RV on an established fenced mobile home lot where you have some control. A mobile home that I've agreed would meet the size standards of what a mobile home, or an RV that would meet the minimum size standards of what you have defined in the ordinance already for a mobile home. It would be skirted. It would meet all of those requirements. Please consider carefully the reasons and methodology you are using when you make your decision on this matter. As elected officials trying to make our town the best it can be for the current and future citizens, I trust that you will contemplate these things. All of the people that are on the planning and zoning that looked at it and don't find it as a detriment to the town, the people around there that it directly affects don't feel like it's going to decrease their property values to have a travel trailer in there, an RV in there. Those people are all your constituents that you're voted to represent and to protect this town, but to the detriment of us. Because why? That's why I really want you to really think about why you're voting no on this, if that's what you choose to do. So
could you go back? What was the request that you wanted back from us or from our attorney?
I wanted to know, we've been told we couldn't have an RV because we didn't have bathrooms. And all of the research that I've done, and any RVs that we would allow in there are fully self-contained anyway, and I haven't received anything.
Is there a state ordinance or something that which you have to have in a mobile home park? Is that
So we've never said that you couldn't have an RV because you didn't have bathrooms. We're talking about two different things. We're talking about a park versus your conditional use here. And so it's always been the position that from the town's situation that they don't want RVs throughout the town unless it's specified as a park. And so my understanding from the multitude of conversations we've had on this topic is that you're not asking to have a park, right?
No.
You're simply asking for the RV. So we're not saying that you're denied an RV because you don't have a park, or you don't have the specific bathrooms for a park. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying, but initially that is exactly what I was told, Amy, was that if I went and built a wash house, or if I rented a shower bath thing, sure, I could have an RV. So it was there initially. So things have evolved.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're all clear here.
Okay.
So we're not talking about you creating an RV park.
Correct.
Had you came to council or came to planning and zoning seeking an RV park, that's a different conversation for a different time. That would also probably warrant a discussion with planning and zoning and things like that, and they would have to approve the plan for a park.
Exactly.
So with respect to the park piece and the bathrooms, that's separate and a part of what your request is. You're requesting a conditional use to have in the mobile home district an RV for rent.
In my established trailer park.
Okay.
It has been established. It's not just a lot that I own. It's an established trailer park that has been allowed to have RVs for the last 30-some years.
Okay, I think we're walking back now.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that there is an established RV park there.
No, it's not. It's not an established RV park. It is an established trailer park.
Okay, so historically there was something that your father-in-law had that allowed him the ability to have a trailer park, correct? The thing from the state.
Well, that was clear back when the court started, and there was trailers over on 3rd Street, and I have pictures from clear back when that was, and all of those were RVs at that time. It's like I said, the whole terminology of all of these things that people live in has evolved, because they never would have called those RVs back then.
I understand.
So.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
Okay.
There was a time period where it was considered a trailer park, okay? And on that particular document, it was never transferable, okay?
Correct.
And so we agree with that piece.
Yes.
Now, separate and a part of that, I don't remember the historic conversations and the timeline exact here, but if you were seeking to have an RV park, you'd need to go to planning and zoning and go through those proper procedures.
I agree.
Okay? So we're on the same page there.
Yes.
What you're seeking is a conditional use permit in the mobile home district to allow RVs on this particular lot. Right? Okay. Everyone agrees?
Yes.
All right.
Except for Sue. Do you not agree with that?
That is what I'm asking for, but that is 10 rental trailer lots. It is different than if I...
Because it's my impression that right now, what's in front of us is to park an RV on address 202.
Correct. That is exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
That's all we're talking about.
Yes.
That's all we're talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No, I just want to make sure that
confound the issue.
And I wanted to be clear on it, so that's why I had the question.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
May I see the picture, please?
Pardon?
May I see the picture up close, please?
Well, I had given it to everybody
Yeah, it'd be there if that was.
11 months ago.
Lyle.
I don't think
Probably pull up the old the packet.
Thank you.
Could probably pull up the old agenda if you wanted to.
That trailer met the criteria that the planning and zoning had asked for if you allowed RVs in the mobile home court.
But if you're asking for that, we have to change the ordinance.
Yes, yeah,
So we can't do
Just
this.
saying.
so I mean,
That's why she's asking for conditional use permit. The ordinance has not been changed.
right.
Right. Well, this is the one. So this one moves. What happens?
Then I would have to apply for another conditional use permit unless I can get a full-size mobile home in there.
So your conditional use permit is for this
Well-
specific trailer?
That's what you guys had said.
No, I'm just trying to clarify.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
what you're saying?
Yeah, well, that's not what I would like for it to be, because when you read what it talks about conditional use permits, it says that
So Sue, why don't we
they
make this-
stay permanent with the property.
So I think you'd make it easy. You vote on an RV on that lot, if she's allowed to have it, as long as she has this RV park.
She doesn't have an
Is it-
RV.
I've seen, as long as she has that
Property.
property.
But does that mean any RV, Lyle?
Yeah, so she could move an RV in.
Any RV.
Yeah, I think that's what you say, and you say. it
It's
has
not
to
just
meet
this
the
RV. It's any RV.
It has to meet the criteria of what we set up as from the planning commission, which that does. And I would say that's what you vote.
That's the purpose of of a conditional use permit, because it does not conform with the ordinance.
Right.
And if that's going to be a thing in the future, then the ordinance needs to be changed. So is there any other questions for Sue?
Thanks, Sue, for reading that. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I guess the one thing that I would like this to be exactly what he just said, but if that's going to cause an issue, when I read on a conditional use permit, and I don't have a problem, I'm looking for my application here on exactly what it says. It says that it meets the minimum size requirements, minimum trailer size requirements, and will be skirted. So I know that there's two different ways that you can handle a conditional use permit from the research that I did. One, you can do it specific to this particular thing. And then if another one came in where you put conditions on the conditional use permit. But otherwise, a conditional use permit conveys with the property. So that means that if I sold the property, that conditional use permit would go with it. And I'm looking for that part of the ordinance. I know I have it here somewhere.
I don't think we're discussing conveyance. In the future, we're discussing whether or not to give you a permit now. Correct?
Okay.
My biggest question at this point is, this conditional use permit applies only and specifically to that trailer and that trailer alone. If that trailer is moved, no other RV of any type can be put there without going through the process again.
I think that's what that's
Is
what
that
I'm reading it.
Is that correct, Amy?
Well, I don't have the conditional use
It
permit in
doesn't
front of me,
Right.
but I think
Neither
that's
do
her
we.
request.
Neither do
So
we.
as I'm understanding, here's what Sue's request really is. And Sue, jump in here and correct me, which I know you will. Sue wants all her lots to be utilized to the full extent that they can be for the ability for her to rent them out, okay? Because this isn't a trailer park, our understanding that we've talked about multiple times is that it doesn't meet that specific criteria, because if it did meet that specific criteria, we would be talking about a trailer park, an RV lot or an RV trailer park. So because we're not talking about an RV trailer park, and instead we're talking about allowing folks in the mobile home district to utilize their property in such a way that they can obtain rent from renting those trailers out, that's going to require a conditional use permit. And the council is certainly free to grant those conditional use permits. I believe Lyle's mentioned that it was previously granted, and this is what we've been talking about for months with Sue. And so I think we need to give Sue a decision here so she can have an understanding of what we're going to do here.
I have one more question, just
Yep.
for clarification. We're talking about the address of 202 only right now.
Yep.
And since I don't have the conditional use permit in front of me, does it mean specifically for one person to move in? And then if that person moves out, we have to do this all again? Or is this 100% for that 202 address from now till ever?
No.
That's my question.
Option one.
Option one. Okay, so option one is, for the motion, is to allow a conditional use permit to move an RV in on address of 202.
Correct.
But not forever, just for that one RV, and when that RV moves, we have to go through this again if we go back through the conditional use permit, or unless ordinances change.
Let's say that, let me give you an example here, and I don't mean to interject you, Russ.
Go ahead.
Let's say that Sue buys an RV that complies with all the requirements under our ordinance, and she parks it there and permanently has it as a fixture, okay? That's potentially a different conversation, because then it's just the person moving in and out rather than the vehicle and the person. I think that the request is for this specific RV, and as stated in Sue's conditional use, for that specific time period, whatever that was.
So this particular one can move.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But another one cannot move in.
Not without another permit.
And another one cannot move in any other spot in that trailer park.
Correct.
This is for this trailer only, and only while these people are living in. They aren't going to buy this, leave it, and rent it out.
Correct. This is their home.
And we are specifically talking about that one, not any of the other 27 people that have asked you about a lot.
No.
It's only for this, you're guaranteeing that this is the one.
I am willing, even though the conditional use permit thing is supposed to be in perpetuity when you read everything, however, you can put conditions on it, and I'm good with that. I agreed with that. I said, I'll only put an RV in there that meets the minimum size requirements, as if I was putting a mobile home in there, that it will meet the age requirements, that it will be skirted, that's what I have agreed to. However, I guess what I'll say is, if I have to do this again, I don't want this to be like this every time I might need to ask for something. I don't know what could happen, tomorrow. Somebody could move their trailer out, and, I have 28 more people asking to put an RV in there. I don't want this to be an 11-month process if I ever have to go through this again. So I'm willing to go with all of those, conditions.
So are we at a point where we need to very specifically make an ordinance that from here on, we are very, very clear about how an RV can be placed in a mobile home park?
I think you have that with the conditional use permit. I think it's all written right there.
Is this,
If we're going to do an ordinance that you want to put them, either one in then the ordinance needs changed. We have an ordinance that says what a mobile home park is. We have the ordinance also says what an RV park is. And the cost to put an RV park in, but the other thing, somebody can put an RV park in, yes, but they have to conform to all planning and zoning and building permits and meet all codes and code enforcement for
For a park.
for a park to go
And
in.
we're actually simply
Yes.
talking
We're
about
just
a
talking-
lot
we're just
in
talking
a
about it.
mobile home
And-
zone.
And a mobile home lot that she wants to put an RV on is the only thing we're talking about. We're not changing the definition of the property or anything else. It's just a conditional use permit. Because a conditional use permit can be used anywhere in the town of Glenrock against whatever, to nullify whatever zoning is there. If we allow a conditional use permit to let somebody do something, that's what the use of a conditional use permit is for. It isn't just a mobile home. It can be an R1, R2, MUR, and commercial. You can be changing something. It's the purpose of a conditional use permit, whether you will allow a change anywhere under the conditional use permit. Can be anywhere in the town of Glenrock, inside the corporate limits of the town. So, but we're just talking about giving permission for an RV to go on a mobile home lot at 202 North 4th.
Correct.
That's all we're talking about right now.
So are we going to call for the question?
and
Yeah.
should this RV move, this discussion is done?
I think it is, because if you wanted to change that to allow them something else, then it goes back to a change. We'd have to go through the process of changing the ordinance totally, Margaret, and that starts at planning and zoning, and then it comes to council, and we have to meet that. That's a whole different discussion.
But if this one moves out,
Then you
I could still apply for a new conditional use
Correct.
permit with
In the
whatever
fu- in the
restrictions
future,
you
yeah.
wanted to put on it.
correct.
Okay.
For the question.
Thank you.
You said you were done.
I am. I'm calling for the question.
Okay.
Oh, well, excuse me. I think we have to amend the
I guess there
motion
needs
to
to-
add the
The
address.
correct address is 202 North
Yes.
4th Street.
I would,
He made
I
the
would
motion.
amend the motion that way.
That's corrected. You seconded, or you
Yes.
seconded again.
Yes.
Been moved
Seconded
in-
again.
Moved into and seconded now.
So we're not doing the discussion again.
No, we're not doing discussion again. Wow, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay.
Nay.
Mayor votes nay. Motion fails.
Wow. Thank you for your help on this, Amy. And I would like for the written thing that the ordinance calls for on why you voted the way that you voted. And I would like that in a timely manner, please. Because in
Do
the
we know what
ordinance,
she's
it says
talking
you have to
about?
give it to
Yes,
me.
I know exactly what she's talking about. It's fine. Moving on with old business. Just a second. The next one is, I believe, is ordinance number 754, an ordinance appropriating money for the town of Glenrock, Converse County, Wyoming, for the purpose of necessary to conduct the municipal government for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026. This is third and final reading. Is there a motion?
I move we pass the ordinance 754, third reading on the budget.
There's a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the budget?
Yes, I had one question on this. Last meeting, the people from down at Douglas with the Laramie Peak Animal Control wanted a allocation. Did we approve that officially allocation to be included in our allocations? No.
No, we didn't.
So that is not in our budget allocations?
No.
Okay, that's not part of our budget, okay.
No.
Was there any changes to the budget?
No, nothing's been changed in the budget since the last two readings. If there is no other discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries.
Bruce, if I could.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and council, since it's now passed, once it's final, I'll get new reports ready for everybody for your binders. If
Okay.
you'd like to bring them in, I'd be happy to put them in the right sections and get everything updated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I believe the next order of business is still under old business, and it's the third and final reading of ordinance number 755, a Planning and Zoning Commission amendment, an ordinance amending the Glenrock Municipal Code, Chapter 2, Section 2.24.020, to reduce the number of members of the Planning and Zoning Commission from 7 to 5. This is the third and final reading of it.
I have a question. Is this?
Got to make a motion first.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we'd.
Somebody make a
I was
motion. Is
spacing
there a
out.
motion?
I move we approve ordinance 755.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's moved to second. Now, any discussion or question? Okay.
I have a question. After reading this and trying to take out what's been taken out, there's a sentence that says, "No member of the commission shall hold a seat on the town council."
I think.
No, it's
That's what it
not,
says.
it's not, yeah, it's not in there.
I thought we corrected
We
that.
did.
It's just
I
not
thought
in
we
our
did,
packet.
but it's.
Yeah, I
It didn't
think,
reflect
I
in
think
our
we
packet.
corrected that last time.
Well, I
But
thought
I
we
will
did
fix,
too, but
I will
it's
fix it.
Okay, that was just my question because I thought we had
Yeah.
fixed that before.
Because there's been discussions about
Yes.
council members being on other commissions or other.
So we are
Committees.
striking the no member of the commission
Yes.
shall hold a seat on town council, correct?
Correct.
Okay, because it's not struck on my copy.
Well, it's not either, but we
Okay,
discussed that last
that's
time.
what I thought,
And we were
yes.
going to remove that. Any other discussion?
So is that considered an amendment?
No, that was
No.
just a
That's
question.
just
Just a question.
okay.
No other questions? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. I believe we're on to new business, and this is for Jason and Renee Redmond at 702, South Grant for a tree application, a tree grant. And I think their low bid, they say is $4,500, and I think we've changed our thing to pay up to $1,000. But is there a motion to approve this tree grant?
I move we approve this tree grant and pay $1,000 on the lowest bid.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. I think our next order of business is bills and claims.
I'll make a motion to pay our bills.
There's a motion to pay our bills. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on bills and claims? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. There is nothing on the agenda left to come before the council this evening. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.